The next morning, the 4 bushmen get ready for the hunt. Their most powerful weapon is to be found below ground. With the help of the metal bars they have acquired through barter with other tribes in the region, they dig holes looking for tiny spheres which look as if they are made of ceramic. They are not easy to find, and the search may be quite long. They need at least 10 of these tiny capsules in order to make the poison. Back at the camp, the men get everything ready to concoct the potion. There's no rush. Rushing is a Western concept and not one they welcome. Bo, the oldest of the 4, says that in the West we have clocks, but they own time. The first step is to scrape and then pound the seeds from the karamungarunga tree, which grows wild here in the Kalahari Desert. The result is a fine powder. While Tukur prepares the arrows, Kushai will take charge of the preparation of the poison. Their expert hands carefully extract the tiny larvae. Once they have caught hold of the larva, they rip the head off. Then, like a tube of glue, they squeeze out the contents into a giraffe bone. These spheres are really the protective wrapping around the larvae of a type of beetle, and their body fluids produce a deadly poison. Little by little, they collect together the yellowish liquid, the appearance of amber. Sometimes they apply the liquid extracted from the larvae directly onto the arrows. But if they want to make a stronger poison, the process is a little more complicated. Some Gao choose the root of a sansevieria, a plant which contains a powerful toxin and which, when mixed with the liquid from the larvae and the powder from the seeds, will give them a poison capable of swiftly killing a man, and for which there is no known antidote. The poison is now ready, and all that remains is to smear the arrows with it. Each hunter carefully covers the tips of his arrows, making absolutely sure the deadly mixture does not come into contact with any cuts they may have on their bodies. If it does, it can cause severe suffering and even death. The arrows are not large and the tips are not especially sharp, because the prey will not be killed by the impact or the wounds the arrows make. The small metal tips are strong enough to make a small wound in the animal, and the poison will then do the rest. The weapons are ready. All they need to do now is wait until the poison is dry. Meanwhile, Bo, who is also the shaman, scrutinizes the runes, looking for good omens, that the hunt will be successful and that the spirits of the dead are with them. The wooden tips will show them the way to their prey. They must perform this ritual if they wish to have good fortune and ward off the evil spirits. Kutoko, where should we hunt? The tips point to where the sun sets. That is where the zebras and the kudu are. The wood says that where the sun rises, there is a group of oryx and gazelles. The 4 hunters will set off in that direction tomorrow, before sunrise. 700 kilometers northwest of Chonwati in a remote mountainous region called Kaoko Land lie semi-arid lands where a cattle-rearing tribe has settled permanently. The river Kunene, the natural border between Namibia and Angola, is what makes life possible in this inhospitable land. The Himba are one of the most interesting and most intact tribal groups in Africa. They have a reputation as the most competent herdsmen in Africa. This is what they are famous for, but their success is not due to their knowledge of cattle alone, but also to their organization and social relations, as they themselves recognize in many of their traditional proverbs, life depends not on animals, but on people. If you have people, you will never die. Himba society is organized according to the principle of dual lineage. This practice of taking into account both the mother's side and the father's side can be found in only 6 regions of the world: West and Southwest Africa, India, Australia, Melanesia, and Polynesia. All Himba people are born into the matriarchal clan of their mother and the patriarchal clan of their father. Lineage on the mother's side determines inheritance of material wealth, including the cattle, while the father's side decides how groups are organized and the structure of authority. Opembe is a small settlement inhabited by just 2 families. Jakuja Jamburu is the Omajona or clan chief. 4 years ago, he suffered an incident which almost cost him his life. It was during the rainy season. We were at the foot of the Omusati Mountains, leading the herd up to the highlands. In the late afternoon, just before the sun went down, a group of 9 famished hyenas began to attack the cows. Armed with only sticks, we tried to drive them off, but one of them jumped on my back and, with one bite, ripped off my arm. A group of herdsmen came to my aid and took me to the hospital in Opuwo, where I arrived 2 days later, almost dead. It was the first time I had been outside my territory. Jakuja is married to Wazindi Kirua, and together they have 3 children. The oldest, Navizo, is responsible for the cows and will inherit them. The younger son is called Kamaiwan, and he is in charge of looking after the goats. And last but not least, Komane, the only daughter. Today is a special day in Opembe. Komane has had her first menstruation, the esuko, and this is celebrated with a dance attended by all the women from the neighboring villages. When a girl has her first period, her father will remove the bracelets made of vegetable fibers which she wears around her wrists and ankles. He then cuts off her braids and places on her head the ekori, the women's headdress. Komane is now ready to get married, and her parents will decide who should be her future husband. Polygamy is practiced among the Himba, and Komane may have sexual relations with whoever she wants, provided she asks her husband for permission. But it is important for a woman to be the first wife, as this confers certain privileges such as the care of the sacred fire, which give her a more dignified status.